What's that, a fish? A duck? Is it a boat? Oh, by golly, it's a Kyler. A wild Kyler.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Kyler.
I'm Taylor.
And we're headed for anywhere.
In episode 6, we're going to finish off Northern California and then travel through Southern Oregon before heading back down the California coast.
We hope you like what you see, so stay tuned. We found this cool spot in Belden that we're going to pull over at, and we're going to go into the river and take a little dip. I just saw a snake swimming in the water. We are off. We just left Belden town and we are headed towards Chico. So a couple days ago when we got to this area, we actually drove straight through Redding and stayed right on Lake Shasta, which was pretty nice. And then the following morning when we woke up, we went waterfall hopping. We went over to Hedge Creek Falls and took about a mile hike from there to Mossbury Falls, which was absolutely beautiful. It was about a mile hike along some train tracks, and you pull into this beautiful waterfall that's just basically just dumping off the cliff right there. After the falls, we drove into Redding and visited my friend Tyler and his wife Amy and their son Michael. We spent some time with them. After we left Tyler's house, we drove up north a little bit and we went to McArthur Burning Falls and the McArthur Burning State Park. That was pretty cool as well. A short hike down, but beautiful falls. After we left McArthur Burning Falls, we drove about 45 miles to a town called McLeod. We're staying right now at a little campground called Cattle Campground. So we spent last night. We're going to spend the next night here today. We're going to do a little bit of exploring on the Grom. We're going to go to the watering hole. Tomorrow morning when we wake up, we're going to go visit my friend Tyler again and off to the next spot. We stayed in Redding again last night at my friend Tyler's house, and we unloaded some of the stuff out of the Jeep, and we decided to do a little day trip to Lassen Volcanic National Park.
This park was actually really interesting and full of information. You can pause on a few of these screens if you're interested in learning more about the area. There was volcanic rock all over the place, and not to mention there were some really incredible views. Our next stop in the park was Bumpass's Hell Trail, which offered us some more of those breathtaking views as we walked about the 1.5 miles down to the basin. This trail has a max elevation of about 8,000 feet, and it's said to be good for all skill levels. Bumpass's Hell Basin is actually the largest hydrothermal area inside of Lassen Volcanic National Park. It's named after its founder, Kendall Bumpass, who stepped through some of this thin crust and fell into the high-velocity steam below, which actually caused him to lose one of his legs. The basin is home to one of the hottest fumaroles in the world, Big Boiler, which reaches up to 322 degrees Fahrenheit. Unfortunately, besides the high temps, these waters are pretty acidic and not recommended for bathing. The 1.5 mile hike back went by pretty quickly as we took in some more of those great views, and then it was time for us to get back on the road.
We stayed in Redding the last couple of nights, and we just took off this morning and we're headed over to the coast. We're gonna head over to Eureka tonight. But driving through Shasta, we found this kind of old-time historic landmark. It looks like it's the old Shasta courthouse, county courthouse, and there's some old buildings down there, so we'll walk through it.
There was tons of great history here in Old Town Shasta. If you're interested in learning more about the area, feel free to pause and read some of these displays.
We are sitting here in the Samoa Dunes State Recreation Area. We drove into Eureka from Redding this afternoon and decided to head down to the beach. The Samoa Dunes down here are pretty cool because it's all BLM land. Unfortunately, there's no overnight camping. They have a gate that they lock at 9 p.m. But should be a cool day. We're gonna drive up and down the beach and do a little bit of exploring here while we have the chance. Pretty cool, able to drive right up to the water. It's a little gloomy today, but hopefully it'll clear up later. We left the Samoa Dunes, and then we found this little pull-off right by this lagoon. I believe it's called Freshwater Lagoon. We just packed our stuff up, and we're gonna head over to that side of the lagoon, and we're just gonna hang out today, I think. Hey, good morning. Taylor and I are somewhere off the coast between Klamath and Crescent City. We found this bitchin' little spot. It's completely free, which is cool. It's actually clean. There's not a bunch of trash everywhere. There's a ton of people here that are super cool. Spent the night here. We're probably gonna spend a little bit more time here this morning and then take off this afternoon. Kent and I woke up next to the beach and decided to head south for the redwoods. We pulled off and we're taking a little hike now through the redwoods. So beautiful out here. These trees are giants.
So cool.
So we have officially made it to Oregon. We stayed on the 101 North, so right now we are just right outside of Gold Beach. It says no camping in this area, so we're just gonna drive around and explore and try to find another spot to camp. So we've just been hanging out right by the river the past couple days here on the Rogue River in Southern Oregon. It's been pretty cool. Taylor and I went around and we collected and cleaned some rocks.
I love rocks.
And every once in a while you get a boat passing by. There's Jerry's jet boats downriver, and they actually go and deliver mail 6 days a week, every single morning on that morning jet boat. So that's pretty cool. Also, sitting right here on the river, we've been seeing beavers. I believe they're beavers.
I think they're beavers.
We've been seeing beavers in the water playing, splashing, catching fish and whatnot. So that's pretty cool.
There's like small children swimming out there.
They're quick, man. Let me tell you. If I was in the water, I saw one of those things coming at me, I would. I'd be pretty scared.
I'm so scared. From the Rogue River, we headed back towards the Oregon coast and eventually up towards the little wharf town of Port Orford, where we drove out onto the dock and we enjoyed ourselves some delicious fish and chips with a wonderful view. We continued on north up the coast a little bit, but had to take a quick pit stop in the small town of Bandon, Oregon, specifically to get a little bit of fudge.
Walking through the small town of Bandon on Oregon's coast. It's so cool down here. It's like a little fishing town.
Yeah, a wharf town.
Our final destination for the day was the Oregon Sand Dunes in Coos Bay, where we actually ended up staying for a couple of nights while we just hung out near the lake.
We are in Coos Bay in the Oregon Sand Dunes. This is so fucking cool out here.
I think we're in the Hauser Sand, specifically.
Sand camping area.
Sand camping.
We just pulled up right here. Dug myself some holes to level my Jeep out. Gonna pop the top and set up camp right here lakeside. It's gonna be really nice. I hope you go in the water. It doesn't work in sand.
He caught a fish!
Slamming some hog. That's what I call a lucky strike. Booyah, baby!
Look at that!
Look at him go. Look at him go. Look at that thing. That was a good
High
bat.
five.
So I just did this pizzas on the scuttle. So let's see if this little oven idea works.
Check those out.
We are here in Southern Oregon on my buddy's property. We stayed here last night. Yesterday we did a little bit of kayaking on the river. We did a little fishing. And then we actually drove into Northern California and took a little dip in a river down there in the Smith River. Now we're back in Southern Oregon. We're gonna pack it down and then we're gonna head east to Medford. Pork chops, a little glaze, and sauteed onions, so should be pretty good.
So today is Friday. If you were somewhere in Oregon, we drove out to the Umpqua Hot Springs. Tyler said it's probably about a 3-mile ride, so we're gonna go ahead and take the Grom up there this morning and go see if we can check it out. The trail up to the Umpqua Hot Springs was a lot of uphill, but it was just under a mile, so it wasn't all that bad. There's actually quite a few pools up here, which is really nice, but there were tons of people, so we didn't film much in order to respect everybody's privacy. But it was probably one of my favorite hot springs that we've been to yet.
Thanks so much. You too. We just pulled into Crater Lake National Park and decided to find a little spot to pull off. And we're gonna make some sandwiches. Taylor's crawling in the back to grab all the fixins, but I'm sure the camera doesn't do this place any justice. The water's so freaking blue.
Crater Lake is actually the deepest lake in America and one of the most pristine on Earth due to it being fed by only snow and rain. There's no rivers that run to or from the lake. We spent some time exploring this park a little bit more and then it was time for us to head back south. We are in Sacramento. I think from here we are actually gonna head towards San Francisco and see all the touristy scenic attractions of San Francisco. So we're gonna head there today after we meet up with his buddy Austin here in a little bit and start heading down the coast.
I'm out here in San Francisco at the Fisherman's Wharf and we're gonna go Gromming. Gonna unload them and go cruise around the city.
Unfortunately, it was pretty smoky and gross in the Bay Area due to all of the fires, so we didn't really camp in the area as we had originally planned, but we did head a little more south to San Luis Obispo, where we did spend the night and then took the Groms the next morning on a cruise to Montana de Oro. This state park was so peaceful and serene, being right there on the water. And this is actually where our adventure ends for this episode. But we're gonna pick it back up soon as we head towards the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone National Park, where things are gonna get really wild. Thank you so much for watching episode 6. Be sure to let us know what you think in the comments and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. If you aren't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can follow us along our journey, and we'll see you guys next time for episode 7.